Hi everyone, welcome. It's me, Lori from Inner Goddess Tarot. So today I'm going to continue my basic intro to tarot series. Last time we talked about the Minor Arcana suit of Pentacles. Now we're going to take a closer look at an aspect of the Minor Arcana known as the court cards. This is a big topic. I think later on I'll do a whole other series that are just looking in depth at the court cards. But let's dive in and take a quick look at them today so we can understand a little bit of what's going on there. A lot of people find the court cards to be puzzling. They don't know how to interpret them. What are they doing in a reading? And I think the problem or the block is that when we look at the Ace to 10, well, I guess the 2 to 10 of the Minor Arcana, we see a story there. We have a scene that we can step into and interpret. But with the court cards, we have usually just one seated or standing or riding figure, one person. What do we do with that? How do we interpret it? So actually, I know now I'm going to have to make more than one video about the court cards. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. So that's a couple of different sides of the court cards. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the first two important aspects of the court cards that will get you to hit the ground running and start to understand what's going on with them. Namely, their connection with an element and the rank of the card. Next time, we'll get into a little bit more detail about how to interpret the court cards in a reading, what they might mean when they come up, So I don't want to give that away, but let's keep this video shorter and I'll go back to that next time. So, court cards. Well, the court cards, as I say, they're the people cards. In a Rider-Waite-Smith deck or a very traditional deck, there's usually 4 in every suit, so a total of 16. And the traditional names for the cards are Page, Knight, Queen, and King. But that being said, a trend recently, or for quite a while now, is to mix those up, to change that, to take out any sort of gender or sexism or racism or that medieval hierarchy, to try and move that away. So you may see some cards that have different names, where they've changed what can I say? They've taken away those sort of royal titles and given them things like priestess or shaman or companion, or very beautiful different ways of looking at the relationships in the cards. But today we're going to look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith ones so you can get to know them. Then after that you can explore. Okay, so first thing I will say is always remember that the court cards are connected with their element of their suit. So for example, here I have the Page of Wands. So we're going to talk about what a page is, but we should always remember that this figure on the card is really connected with wands, which is connected with the element of fire. So everything that fire implies, passion, drive, creativity, curiosity, these kind of things are inherent in this page. Same with another example, Page of Cups. We're connected with the suit of cups, which is water. So everything that water implies, emotion, it's gentler, healing, love, relationships come into play. So whenever you're interpreting a court card or getting to know, making friends with a court card, always keep in mind what element, what suit we're dealing with here, because that tells you a lot. The second most important basic thing to know about the court cards is to get an understanding of what the ranks signify. Before we even get into, as I say, into interpreting how it might, what it might mean in a reading, let's put that aside for a moment and just get to know the ranks of the court cards. So, as I mentioned, the traditional ranks start with the page. So here's our lovely Page of Wands again. So what is a page? When we think even historically, or the figure of a page, what is it? Usually they're young, they're youthful. In the case of the court cards, it could be a young person or someone who has a youthful spirit, or it's a youthful attitude. But pages were messengers, they were apprentices, they were just learning. They're at the beginning of something. Everything is new and exciting. There's openness and curiosity there, but no experience, or not very much experience. Immaturity. Good intentions and possibility there, but they don't know very much at this point. They're ready to go, but they're inexperienced. So those are the pages. Okay, then next up in the ranks, we hit the knights. So here's Knight of Wands, the fiery Knight of Wands on his beautiful reddish orange horse there. So knights, we move up a little bit in the maturity level, but they're still not very mature. I mean, we're talking about a personality that is driven by action, adventure, they're goal focused. Knights are going off on a crusade. They're going after the Holy Grail. They're going out to fight whatever enemy that the king and queen have sent him out to conquer. So there's a real feeling of action, focus, living in the moment, purpose driven. But this taken to the extreme can go to recklessness or youthful arrogance, that kind of thing. But there's a lot of action going on in the knights and movement. Mm-hmm. And I should mention, actually, I'll back it up a minute. The pages, they're considered to have an immature, sort of feminine energy. And I should have said this from the outset, but we don't want to get caught up in the gender of the cards. The page is depicted often as male, sometimes as female, but actual people, I mean, anyone can be a page, or anyone can be a king. It's not a man or a woman. It's just the energy that we're talking about here. So don't get caught up in that. But so page is that immature feminine sort of energy. Knights are immature masculine energy. Then we move up the ranks to the lovely queens. So I have here one of my favorite cards, the Queen of Wands. So queens, now we're reaching a level of maturity. They are the masters of their suit. They really understand and feel comfortable in their element. Queens have power, authority, leadership, respect, but they're usually ruling from the heart, and they're making decisions considering the well-being of everyone concerned. So everything that you think about with a queen. So not to underestimate their power, but it's more of an inner power, a personal mastery, and then they're able to convey that to the people in their lives. And they do have a nurturing aspect to them and connection with intuition and that kind of world, because we have this very feminine energy here. Mm-hmm. Then we move to the kings. So here's the King of Wands. Here he is. So kings, also mature but masculine energy. The kings are outward masters, so that they are also masters of their element, but they're much more outward looking, outward power. And kings are, I feel like they're kind of consolidating too. They've reached the pinnacle. They're secure in their power. Now they are consolidating, hanging on to what they've built, maintaining, taking care of what they've built. So there is a feeling of responsibility here, of wanting to take care of people, but it's not in the same personal way that we have with the queens, right? This is more of a boundary between still wanting to take care of the people in their kingdom, but a little bit more removed. They can make the hard decisions, put the emotions aside when necessary. But kings, as I say, they're leaders. They have reached the height of their career, of their position in life, and they're hanging on to it, right? So when we look at the court cards, those just for examples were the wands, but those sort of characteristics flow through all of the ranks, no matter the suit. But as I say, when you're getting to know the cards, you have to take into consideration the element as well. So that's a whole other video. But just as an example, let's take a look at these two of the knights to give us a taster here. So I mentioned the Knight of Wands. Wands are connected with fire, passion, drive. Then we have the Knight of Cups, romantic, emotional, driven by love, relationships. So these are both knights, but we have to consider that they would be a very different sort of personality because of that element. So they're both action driven. They want to go out and do things, but one is driven by spirit, by passion. One is driven by the heart. So that can, and of course, think of the swords. We've got the intellect in there, the mind. What did I miss? Pentacles, earthy, solid, looking for stability. So even though they're knights, there is a different flavor because of their element. Okay, so I've gone on longer than I had intended. So let's stop there. But keep in mind, the next time we talk, we'll get into deeper with the court cards. So getting an idea of the different ways that you might interpret them in a reading. Because what do they mean? Are they a person? Are they you? Are they someone else? Are they an event? Are they forces? You know, what are they? So stay tuned. We'll talk about that next time. So thanks for listening. Again, I'm Lori from Inner Goddess Tarot. I'd love it if you would take a look at my website at innergoddesstarot.com. See what events I have coming up. There's a lot of free tarot lessons, my blog. So please feel free to pay me a visit. And also please find me on Facebook. Okay, thanks. Bye.